Hey guys, so unless you've been living under a rock the past few weeks, you've probably been seeing the whipped coffee trend going around on the internet. So I decided I wanted to give it a try, and to be totally honest, I am obsessed. So, like many of you, I'm missing some Starbucks and need something other than a regular cup of coffee. So I want to show you how to make this whipped coffee today. So you only need a few things. You need instant coffee. This was all I could find, so it's what I bought. You're going to need some sugar and a little bit of water. So to make this, you're going to add a 1 to 1 to 1 ratio of each ingredient. So I already have a couple tablespoons of water in my measuring cup. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of sugar. And then add my 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. So then you're going to end up with a mixture that looks like this. So you have a couple options here. You're going to have to whip it. So some people like to do it by hand with a whisk. You could do that. It's going to take about 8 minutes or so to whip it by hand to get the right consistency. So I'm just going to use my handy dandy hand mixer, turn it up to the highest setting, and get whipping. So I found with my hand mixer, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to get the right consistency. Once it turns this a nice caramely color, and you can see it almost has a meringue-like texture, it starts to kind of hold its shape, and it starts to kind of become like a thick, almost like a taffy-like kind of substance, but it's really light and really airy. So once it takes on that kind of nice caramel color, and you can start to see kind of the trails of the mix behind it, then you know it's about ready to go. So this is about perfect. You'll know that it's ready when you stick your finger in it. It doesn't drip off your finger. It's got a nice smooth texture, and it's ready to go. So the recommended way to serve it is you're going to need a big cup. They recommend to put 1 to 2 ice cubes in the bottom. And then I like to serve it over just regular 2% milk. But I've seen this done with a lot of different kinds of milk. It looks like you can use whatever kind of milk you prefer. So I've got my 2 ice cubes, my 2%, and now I'm ready to layer my whipped coffee on top. And it's so light that it will just sit on top of whatever choice of liquid you put underneath. Some people even just serve it with water. Some people even just put it over ice and just eat it with a spoon. I really like it with milk. It kind of gives it a latte-like consistency. And then to serve, they recommend that you mix. It will take some time to mix your milk and your whipped coffee together. The whipped coffee is so light and creamy and full of air that it just really requires some incorporation with that milk. And of course, I'm going to make a mess while I do this. And once you get it mixed up with your milk, you are ready to enjoy. So what I just absolutely love about this recipe is it's so light and creamy, and the whipped coffee just tastes so much like a Starbucks drink. It's such a great replacement. So there you go, guys. That is how you make the internet famous whipped coffee. So it only takes a few minutes, and you probably have all the ingredients already in your pantry. Some people really like to whip it by hand. It takes about 400 whips, or about 8 to 10 minutes for most of what I've seen. I prefer to do it with a hand mixer. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes. What I'm really loving about this is, I don't know about everybody else, but right now with quarantine and everything going on, I am like so missing like a latte or a macchiato, or just that like creamy coffee drink that I would normally get from Starbucks or wherever else I might be out for coffee. And this is just something that's really easy to make at home, and it really feels and tastes like a treat.